it's Bella, and today I would like to speak to you about the last new moon of 2022. And this is a new moon at the first degree of Capricorn. On the 23rd of December 2022, where a new seed of intent, also the number one, which cannot be more clear, a new beginning or intention can be set in the area of Capricorn in your chart. And this also sets the tone until the next new moon, as well as the tone for the first quarter of the new calendar year. We have the Sun and Moon squaring Jupiter, we have Mercury sextiling Neptune, Venus trine Uranus, Jupiter sextiling Pluto, and we also still have Mars retrograde in Gemini. So we have a lot going on at this time. Now, a new moon at the first degree of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, currently in Aquarius. We just passed the darkest hour of winter in the northern hemisphere as the return of the light and the return of the sun begins and emphasizes for us diligence, perseverance, status consciousness, as well as goal orientation. For the southern hemisphere, we just passed summer solstice, and for all, we share a turning point. We come from out under a bridge to see again with new perspectives the path forward. This lunation is also in the Nakshatra of Mula, which is connected to our roots, destroying illusion to go beyond. And this is a time where we return to our roots, return to family or loved ones or those that nurtured us in order for us to re-strengthen for the endurance of the race. This time of year, we are most likely thinking more about the actions that we have taken and where our progress have gotten us or not. We may be course correcting towards taking better steps and planning towards our future. Looking at the structures that uphold our lives as well as the reality we are living in and actively creating. You may be thinking much about life in the long term, time itself, as well as your standing in the community. This is a great time to remind yourself that you do not need others' validation and that your inner values are what counts. Where are you collecting and storing your gold? Aspects of personal lives and our own personal lives can become more public at this time, and it is important to just be your authentic self as much as possible. Our parents can play a much stronger role in our lives now, or we can spend much more time thinking about them and what we may have learned from them as role models. Now the Sun and Moon squares Jupiter at a powerful 0 degrees of Aries, the cardinal world axis point, another beginning point of new leaders, leadership, as well as persistence. We could possibly expect sudden and big, brave beginnings or blessings for some. More self-confidence and self-assurance comes with this energy, which can really assist with accomplishing high ideals you may now have, or ideals that you've not had the courage for before or the development before to do. As long as it's done now in a matter of restraint, as there is a strong tendency now to overdo things or to possibly be unrealistic. It is time to realistically look at the bigger picture of our lives and see what works and what does not work anymore, what needs to stay, what needs to be reworked, and what needs to go. On all levels, also love and money and our responsibilities towards others. What is it that you want to move forward and what is it that you are now cutting away. But your Capricorn house, as well as your Aries house, is arriving at new beginnings that are possible now. What are you trying to achieve moving forward in 2023? How will you be moving and using your energy? Where is your focus? The dispositor of Jupiter freshly, or let's say Jupiter freshly back into Aries with its dispositor Mars, still retrograding in Gemini, with Mercury, its dispositor, in shadow and ready to retrograde as of the 29th of December. Therefore, we are still rethinking our steps. Our mental processes are testing out options, and we could still be changing our minds as we enter the next calendar year. So we are finishing cycles and we are beginning new cycles at this time. And if you require assistance in some of your decisions going forward, this is a good opportunity to ask someone wiser. Time spent with others now will need to be done in a more open-minded and more mature manner to refrain from self-righteous views and debates on topics that could ruin an evening between loved ones. We can still be very emotionally reactive though with Mars retrograde in Gemini, but with the moon in Capricorn, there could be a touch of callousness. So that could still help us a little bit. But your focus rather should be on compassion and acceptance and understanding. But overall, you should be mostly optimistic and forward-looking now. But caution for self-righteousness or arrogance, as well as looking at life through rose-colored glasses. Stay realistic, guard against self-deception as well as being deceived by others. Look at everything from a learning and a growth-filled experience. What have you learned this year? And what can you take with you into the next year that will help you to make better choices? Much of what we move towards, prepare and plan now, new commitments and so forth, will be receiving a much needed and long awaited opening by the time the sun moves into Aries in the spring. Also, the area of Taurus and Aquarius will be so strongly affected, as that is where the Saturn-Uranus square has been for such a long time, keeping us stuck in ways and in places where we wanted more freedom and flexibility. Therefore, use your time wisely, as Saturn, the ruler of this moon, and the next 3 months of the year would suggest. Our attention is on many things at this time, and time seems to pass quickly, yet slowly at the same time, as we may be feeling it more vividly now. Also the subtle, yet still spiritual awareness that surrounds us now, everything that we've been through, everything that we've seen and heard and experienced, like a soft fog moving in between us all. We turn inward to turn outward, toward more self-realization through others. There's an underlying tone through all the clear as well as misty moments of an underlying electricity that almost anything is possible, and that unusual but exciting experiences await. This new moon is not exceptionally good for the following things. There can be secrets or personal issues being brought out in public, airing out the dirty laundry in front of others, crossing the line between professional and personal. Love can take on a mercenary motive in some cases, so be aware of that. This is not a great time for debates. You can overspend and overdo almost anything. Childhood subconscious patterns can ruin evenings here. Self-righteous and all-knowing or boasting attitudes could do harm. Not for It's not great for drinking too much or doing any type of recreational drugs or anything that can be overdone or cause an overdose. Any self-sabotaging and addictive behaviors connected to escaping the world or the current reality is not a great idea. Some relationships that start now, that are brand new and very exciting, could fizzle out quickly. This moon is good for public relations, sales, new planning, and preparation for a new beginning in the areas of Aries and Capricorn, as well as Taurus. Marketing, ambition, your professional life or public image, or your life path and direction, whether this is a marriage, a pregnancy, a new career, or business endeavor. It's great for any planning and preparation and building in this area. It's good for taking training regarding a career or a position coming up. It's great for connecting with the right people to forward your career and also to rethink your options. Love can take on a more serious tone, and even though it can happen quickly for some. And you will be thinking mostly long term if you are already in love. Love can be towards a boss, favorable for favor, regarding authority figures or procedures. It's great for decorating or doing something aesthetically pleasing or upgrading in some way. An aspect at work, such as even a better layout in a marketing ad or a new brand design. It's great for any artistic endeavors, spending time getting inspired. It's good for daydreaming and using your imagination in a more balanced and more realistic way in order to assist with future planning. It's a great time for praying, meditation, receiving answers to prayers, prophetic atonement, as well as a spiritual awareness in general. It's a great time for analyzing complex problems, psychoanalysis, or any research or science-related work. It's great for changing up your routine or doing something out of the ordinary or exciting, going for gold. It's great to spice things up in a long committed relationship or to meet someone new and exciting in a very unusual and maybe different manner. I would like to read to you the ruler of this moon, Saturn, at 21 degrees of Aquarius, is Sabian symbol by Dane Rudhyar. A disappointed and disillusioned woman courageously faces a seemingly empty life. The keynote here is the capacity to meet emotionally upsetting experiences in human relationships with strength of character and personal integrity. The man who manages vast and complex business enterprises most often reaches power and achieves success because of his ability to deal with crises and temporary reverses of fortune. At the emotional level, we now see a woman confronted with sharp disappointment and forced to face the vanishing of cherished illusions, presumably in terms of a close personal relationship. She has to learn to manage such crises, which are really tests of inner strength and perhaps compassion. We all have within ourselves the power to learn through emotional crises, but like any other faculty, it needs development. This is the first symbol in the 65th fivefold sequence, and it urges us to develop resilience under adversity. I would also like to read to you the Inside Degrees by Elias Longdale for Capricorn at 1 degree. A canopy bed with curtains, standing on the inside of life, protected and guarded, guided and led, held fast, kept so far back inside that what does express itself is purely a ceremonial display, a formal declaration. The observer or witness empowered to prevail, able to see, to realize, to comprehend the mysteries. Clairvoyance, keenly sensing and viewing meaning and value. Purpose and spirit backbone. So very strongly and steadily directed from within that there is no outer, there is no thing to do. Instead, you center yourself and align with who you truly are and stalwartly remain in the place of authority and power and inward truth as your statement and the only thing you know. And with this celebration of the birth of God's Son, Merry Christmas, Geseënde Kersfees, and as the light returns and lifts the heaviness off of our eyes, may the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. Until next time, Happy New Year. Bye-bye.